Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. If you are new here, my name is Latriva Hill. I moved to Panama 18 months ago and I still absolutely love it here. My journey started when I lost my husband and 2 months later lost my daughter. This completely changed my perspective on life. I wanted to start anew. I wanted a fresh start, and I decided that I was going to get that fresh start here in Panama. I wanted to embrace new cultures, new beginnings, and do something completely different than what I had been doing there in California. On the last video, I shared losing my husband and my daughter and my experience with selling all my belongings and making my way to Panama. This video, I did want to cover some of the comments that I got from you guys to give you a little bit more insight on my mental health and how I was thinking. I really appreciate you guys' comments and all of the things that you said to me. Thank you so much. I want to talk about staying stuck. I got a lot of comments about how I was able to pivot from my darkness into more of a productive life. I'm not here trying to act like it was easy, because guys, it was absolutely not. It was a huge tragedy. I was in my house, like I said, for a year, not going out, not talking to anyone, just eating and drinking. That's an entire year. Until I was able to start renting out my rooms, that's when I started kind of opening up a little bit and decided to date again after a year and go outside. One thing about those tragedies, it gave me PTSD. I totally have PTSD to this day. My PTSD is more of going outside. If you go outside, I feel like something's gonna happen to you and you're not gonna make it back home, because my husband never made it back home. So part of me isolating myself in the house was basically just my PTSD. So another lady asked me, how did her husband die? So after we went to the BMW dealership to purchase the car, I noticed that he was, he had diabetes and very severe diabetes. And we went to the dealership and he was getting a little hungry and a little tired. We had spent all day there, and I'm asking him, are you okay? Are you okay? And he's like, yeah, babe, I'm fine. So on the way home, I guess he had a diabetic episode where he didn't know where he was going. He was just completely discombobulated. He pulled over in the parking lot where I worked and just spent the entire night there. He did have a security code on his phone, so I'm calling and calling and calling. I wasn't able to get through. He could not remember the code to his phone. So all night, I had been trying to reach him, absolutely nothing. So the next morning, he didn't show up at home. I'm up all night, I'm wondering where he is. And the next morning I get worried. I start calling the police, I start calling the hospitals, and I just have no idea where he is. And I reached the non-emergency police number. And she stated to me, she goes, wait a minute, does your husband drive a white Mercedes? I'm like, yes. She goes, oh, we picked him up this morning at 9 o'clock. Someone called it in and he was screaming that he was having a diabetic episode. So at that point, I was like, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. He is alive and they found him. So I was really excited that he was in the hospital, because, he's had a couple episodes before, and he goes to the hospital, they get his levels right and everything's fine. So now at this point that I know he's in the hospital, I'm feeling pretty good about things at this point. So I call the hospital, I'm trying to get to his room. Eventually I get to his room and he was pretty much out of it. He was irate. He didn't want the doctors to touch him. He was throwing things, and he was pretty much out of control at that point. And I told the doctors, hey, he's a diabetic. Just level out his, whatever they have to do to level it out, and he should come down and be okay. So I spoke to him and he was like, come and get me, baby, just come and get me. And I was like, okay, honey, this was during COVID, like the end of COVID. So I still needed to get a COVID test before I could even enter the hospital and enter his room. I told him that I was going to go and get a COVID test, and then I would be there, but to please just calm down and I would see him shortly. And I said, I love you. And he said, I love you too. And that was the last time I saw him. Well, that was the last time that I spoke to him. By the time that I got to the hospital, I went up. By this time, he's now in ICU. He was not in ICU when I was speaking to him. So now when I get there, he is in ICU. I'm sitting there ringing the bell, trying to get into the room, and nobody, nothing. A couple minutes later, all I hear is code blue, everything opened up, everybody ran in, and since the door is open, I just walked in. And little did I know the code blue was for him. And yeah, so that was the experience. I'm there. I requested that they resuscitate him a couple times, and nothing worked. So I had to say goodbye to my husband at that point. And that experience, I mean, man, it was tragic. I have never been in a situation like that before. I've never been around anybody on their deathbed before that. It was just, it was traumatizing. I came up to the hospital in the car that we just purchased, and I thought I was gonna be able to visit my husband, just sit there with him and kind of hold his hand through the process. And I get there and he's no longer there. It was devastating. And at that point, I didn't have anybody coming up to me. There was no Red Cross. There was no pastor or priest or anybody there. They gave me his belongings in this plastic bag, and I remember just walking down a long hall that had a whole bunch of lights, and nobody was walking on that hallway except for me. And I'm sitting there and I'm just in a daze. I didn't cry, I didn't do anything. I was just numb. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't believe it. I had just spoken to him a couple hours later. So I get to the car, and I sit there and I'm like, what in the hell just happened? And I put his belongings in the passenger seat. He never had a chance to even ride in the car. So I put his belongings in the passenger seat, and I'm thinking, holy shit. It just felt unreal. I didn't know what to do, what to think. Probably the third time I resuscitated him, I called his family, I called my family, let them know what was going on. So I gave them an opportunity to kind of talk to him. I put the phone up to his ear and things like that. But I get to this car and I'm like, holy shit. I drive myself home. Don't know how I got there because I was not in my right mind. I probably was driving slow. I'm sure I wasn't driving fast. And I get home and I'm just like, this is unreal. It can't be. So all my family and friends started coming to my house, and it was an overload. I mean, I got an overload of support, questions, and meanwhile, things are just coming to me, and I had no idea. I had no idea what was going on, what to do, what to expect. I still couldn't believe he was gone. So that's how he passed away. And my daughter, I'm still not really able to talk too much about my daughter. There was a lady, she said that she had lost, I believe it was her mother and her son, and said that she was never the same again. I will tell you this, losing both of them back to back like that was very traumatic for me. And my daughter, it definitely hit a little bit harder. And to this day, I'm still not able to talk about her that much or be around people with kids that are around her age. It's a little hard for me to see people going off to college and things like that. My daughter didn't have a chance to do that. She was 18 when she passed away. So the backpacks and the college students and things like that, it really, really takes a hold on me. So I try to, right now, I don't talk about it too much. So I'm still working through that part of my tragedy. But she's absolutely right. It changes you. It changes you 100%. I will never be the same again. I had 3 children. I have a 37 and a 36-year-old, 37-year-old son, and my daughter is 36. They live in Virginia. I don't talk about them very much because they have their own personal life, and me deciding to be on YouTube is my choice. I'm not gonna put their business on YouTube. So everybody, my entire family was pretty devastated. They were devastated with my husband, and of course, extremely devastated about my daughter. My daughter came down, my son came down, everybody came down to console me. The entire situation changed me. I wasn't able to focus anymore. That was one of the reasons why I decided to go ahead and retire myself. I no longer wanted to do some of the things that I used to do. They just didn't feel normal anymore. I just didn't know what I was gonna do. None of it felt right. None of it felt like I belonged there. After that night, everybody came to my house. Everybody went home the next day or the same day, and everybody went back to their life. Everybody went back to their life, and mine was changed forever. So I'm left in that big house by myself. My sister's with her husband, my cousins, everybody, they're gone home. They're doing what they need to do. And I'm sitting here without a husband and a daughter. So my decision to leave the country, it wasn't something that I thought of right away and was just like, hey, I'm just gonna get out of here. I got up after that first year. I started dating, I started going out, I started meeting new people. Life, it seemed to be moving on. And I will honestly say that first year of me dating, it was just passing time for me to get out of the house. I met some wonderful people, spent some great moments and memories with them, and they are still my friends to this day. But it wasn't something that I was looking for long term. I was just trying to get out of the house and deal with my anxiety of getting out of the house. The first person that I dated, I was with him all the time. I stayed at his house. I never came home. I was traveling with him, doing everything with him. And I just transferred it from my house down to his house. So I still wasn't facing what I was going through or what I was feeling. I just now had somebody to go through it with me. So that was the first one. The second one, I was feeling a little bit better. He was a pilot, so we flew everywhere. We had a great time together, and that was great. And then after him, I decided that I wanted to take a break from dating, and I just started getting my health together, my physical together, and my mental state together. And that's what I did for probably 8-9 months, and then deciding to move to Panama. Deciding to move to Panama for me was a hard time. Like I said, looking at my family members and friends going back to their regular life, and my life was forever changed. So I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to get out of there. My kids, I was like, I told my daughter and my son, I was like, hey, do you want the house? They were like, nope, I do not want this house. I don't want to live in California. It's too expensive. So I just thought, it's time. It's time for me to go ahead and do some of the things that I've always wanted to do. I always wanted to live abroad. My husband and I, we talked about moving and leaving California and retiring together in a tropical place. And I just thought to myself, why not now? He was 55 when he passed away. I was 53. And yeah, that was hard. It was really hard. So at 53, he died at 55. We didn't scratch the surface of a retirement. He never got to retire. So I thought, there's no need to chase money. There's no need to chase things. I've had everything. I've bought everything. There was nothing else tangible that I needed. So I said yes to myself. I said yes to what I wanted to do, and I said yes to this new adventure. The hard thing was, at first I said I was gonna just keep my house and rent it out. I did have the renters in there. But like I said, I had 4 renters. One was a bit sketchy, and I was spending a lot of time away from my house. One of the reasons that I decided to rent my rooms out was so that I could have access to my house whenever I wanted. You know, as a real estate agent, I understood, hey, if I rent out my house, then there would be certain limitations and times and things and documents that I would need to do to get into my house. But with renting out the room, with me occupying my primary room, I can come and go as I please and make sure that my house was being taken care of. So this particular time I was out of town, and one of my tenants, he sent me a video of a water leak. He said water was coming from under my cabinets, and I'm thinking there's no water line on that wall. And when I got home, he lied. He flooded my upstairs bathroom. So I had to, you know, have contractors come out, find the source of the water. So they tore up my entire downstairs and my ceilings and things like that to try to figure out this water leak. And then once they found it, it came from his bathroom, and he must have flooded over the tub, must have forgot that he was running water or whatever he did, because it wasn't the plumbing of the toilet or anything like that. He just overflooded the tub. So after that, going through the process, this is all within that 2 years before I left. So going through the process of fixing my house, going through insurance and doing all that, it became extremely stressful. Now I have dust in the house, I have chiseling, my walls are all tore up. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do any of this. I want out, like this is crazy. So, well, take a look at some of the pictures of when I was trying to fix my house. So this experience really changed my mind on keeping my house, renting it out. I had a lot of equity in there. I bought it at a great price. And if I would have held on to it a little bit longer, I would have had way more. It was close to double the amount that I purchased it for at this point. But the experience of fixing that house and the contractors in my mind, and I still wasn't able to focus, and they were trying to scam me, and it was just a lot going on. So I was just like, you know what? I stopped, and I stopped the work, and I said, you know, I'm ready to just sell this house. I don't want any issues. I don't want to have to deal with tenants. I don't want to have to deal with the upkeep of my house and making sure that they are upkeeping my house while I'm away. So I decided to sell. Again, it was not an easy decision, but it was the best decision for me. There is a lot of work that goes into managing your property when you're not there, and who's to say what those tenants are going to do? No one's going to take care of your home as well as you did, and I just didn't want that responsibility anymore. So that's why I ended up selling my home. Also, my family was not, they were shocked. They were really shocked when I said that I was moving to Panama. They were a little nervous of me coming here by myself. No one wanted to upset me or have me spiral into some dark abyss. So they really didn't press too hard, but I could see the concern on their faces. You know, my son and my daughter, they both were concerned, but they also wanted me to be happy. They also wanted me to live my life and stay healthy for them. Like I said, I had 2 other children that live in Virginia. I have grandchildren. I'm still very much so loved by all of them, and they would be devastated if something happened to me. So that was a lot of my motivation to get out of that house and to get up. I still had all of these people to live for. I still had a lot of years left on my life to live for. So that was my motivation. It was extremely difficult. It was tough at times. It's still tough at times, but it's part of my life now. My life has forever changed, and I'm okay with it. I give myself grace. I give myself grace to feel the way that I feel, isolate the way that I isolate, but I just don't allow myself to stay in a state of depression very long, because that's a dangerous, dangerous place to be. So I hope this helps someone that's dealing with the things similar of what I went through. I also want to say thank you guys so much for your support. I did have a couple of video chats with you guys, and it was just wonderful talking to you, hearing your stories, and sharing the different experiences that we both have experienced. So again, continue to sign up for video chat if you would like to talk about your situation, my situation, or how I dealt with it. I am more than happy to chat with you. My email address is latrivahill1@yahoo, so you can send me a message there and say that you want a video chat, and I will give you the instructions via email, and we can chat, guys. So that's working out great. Talking about it has helped me so much in my journey of getting through this grief. So talking about it, getting in front of it has just, it's helped me a lot. In that time of dating, it was hard. It's hard even now. Some of the men, they're coming to me, they're like, okay, they want to date me because they're attracted to me, but then, you know, they get into my world, they come to my home. This is there in California, and one guy would say, well, how much does it cost to maintain your lifestyle? And I'm thinking, God, I'm not here asking you to maintain my lifestyle. You need to be asking me questions about me. And I remember one guy, he said, he came to the house and we were chatting, watching movies, and then he said, yeah, I really want to see what you're going to be doing 6 months from now, because I kind of feel like you're trying to replace your husband. And people have their own agenda when it comes to widows. And that's still a challenge. Like some people that I date even today, they're like, are you over your husband? Am I over my husband? My husband is gone. Like it really is mind-blowing to me that people are today still jealous of my husband and my relationship. I will no longer be able to experience that with my husband anymore. Like, it's not my issue. It seems like it's the people, you know, insecurities of the men that I've been meeting. So that's been a challenge. I have not met anybody that, you know, that I would be really interested in really being serious with. Well, I would say I did meet one person. It went very well. But a lot of people have their own things to work out, you know, their own demons to work on. And I just don't allow them to put that into me and what's going on with me. So that's been a little bit different as far as dating is concerned. I will do another video on dating and my experience with dating, but right now I'm just enjoying me. I'm enjoying spending my time alone. I'm enjoying going through the motions of feeling these things. When I lived in the city, I didn't face any of my issues. I want to be present in the moment of what I'm feeling so that I can face this head on. I am not covering it up with alcohol or anything or people or partying. That's why you see me here alone, because this journey is real. It's a part of me now, and it's not going away. So at this point, I am embracing the new me, learning how to navigate through this world with my new experiences, with all my tragedy, but making sure that I am living to the fullest. I made it to 56. My husband only made it to 55. So I'm feeling extremely, extremely hopeful for my future and what's to come, guys. So I will continue bringing you in, letting you know about me a little bit. We still need part 3. Probably I'm just going to do this for the rest of the month. Just kind of fill you in on who I am, how I'm doing, where I come from, and some of the emotions and challenges that I faced to get me to this point. In January, we're going to just take off in a whole new direction and move forward. In January, it'll be, I think, 4 or 5 years. 4 years? Yeah, 4 years. So everything is going along. I mean, like I said, my life was damaged. Everybody else went back to their life. They're having their great time, and I am left to pick up the pieces. So that's what I've done. I picked up the pieces and I've moved on. I'm definitely enjoying Panama. It feels peaceful. It feels like home. And I will bring you guys on that journey. So once again, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. If you do like my content, please like, subscribe, and see me on part 3. Have a good one. Bye.